Yeah. From the bay to the bridge. SF, stand up. Let's go. Rolling through the mission on a Tuesday. Car coming in thick, can't see 2 feet away. Climbing up them hills, transmission working overtime. Cable car sliding past, I'm posted at the stop sign. This is a city where the hustlers move different. Every block got flavor, every corner got a vision. From the field more to the ad, nigga seconds 10 before she features sunset. But my finger to my friends. Yeah.
San Francisco. San Francisco isn't just a city. It's an intense experiment in extremes. You have billionaires living blocks away from struggle, cutting-edge technology mixed with infrastructure from the 1800s, and views that cost a fortune just to look at. It wasn't always like this. This was a quiet outpost called Yerba Buena. Let's strip away the filters and see what this city is actually about. To understand modern San Francisco, you have to look at the numbers. If this state, California, was its own country, it would have the 5th largest economy in the world, beating out places like the UK and Germany. And San Francisco is the engine room of that wealth. It wasn't always like this. Before 1848, this was a quiet outpost called Yerba Buena. Then gold was found at Sutter's Mill, and the population didn't just grow, it exploded from 1,000 to 25,000 in 2 years. That boom and bust DNA never left. It went from the gold rush to the dot-com boom and now to the AI revolution. It is a city built on the idea that you can come here with nothing and change the world. Now, let's look at the streets. Because physically moving around this city is a workout you didn't sign up for. San Francisco is built on more than 40 hills. And some of these grades are so steep they look like vertical walls on camera. If you are planning to rent a car, pay attention to the tires you see parked on the street. Notice how the wheels are turned. That is legally required here. You have to curb your wheels, turn them into the curb. So if your brakes fail, the car hits the sidewalk instead of rolling downhill and taking out a trolley. You'll see cyclists fighting for their lives going uphill and flying downhill. It's also why walking distances here are deceptive on Google Maps. A 5-minute walk might be a 300-foot vertical climb that will destroy your calves. My advice, pack good shoes and don't trust the map's estimated walking time. You also need to keep your head on a swivel because the traffic patterns here are wild. 1 minute you are staring at a multi-million-dollar Victorian mansion, and the next you are dodging a Waymo driverless car navigating a pothole. It is a city designed for mountain goats, not sedans, but that elevation is exactly what gives you those movie star views around every corner. Moving into one of the most densely packed neighborhoods, Chinatown. This isn't just a tourist attraction. This is the oldest Chinatown in North America and the largest outside of Asia. It was established in 1848, right at the start of the gold rush. Entering through the Dragon Gate on Grant Avenue feels like you've left the US entirely. The street signs are bilingual, the architecture shifts, and the energy changes. But there is a history here that goes beyond the red lanterns. For decades, Chinese immigrants were restricted by laws that forced them to live only in this designated area. They built a self-sustaining city within a city, their own hospital, their own schools, and their own banks. Fun fact, the fortune cookie, it wasn't invented in Beijing. It was invented right here in San Francisco. If you head to Ross Alley, you can still find the tiny factories where workers are folding these cookies by hand. Thousands of them a day. It's a neighborhood that feels completely authentic because for over 170 years, it's had to fight to exist. But let's talk about the food, because you can't come here and not eat. Skip the shiny tourist traps near the gate and look for the places with ducks hanging in the window and lines of locals out the door. Look for places like Good Mongkok Bakery for dim sum, where you will pay cash and eat on the sidewalk. It is loud, it is crowded, and the produce markets spill out onto the pavement with fruits you have probably never seen before. This isn't a museum exhibit, it is a living, breathing community that wakes up early and stays up late.
Palms turning like wine, brick walls rise on every side.
Just a short walk from Chinatown is the beating heart of the city's commerce, Union Square. Historically, this has been the premier shopping district. Think of it as the Fifth Avenue of the West Coast. You have the massive department stores, the luxury boutiques, and the historic hotels. In the center, you'll usually spot these massive heart sculptures. These are part of a project started in 2004 to raise money for the General Hospital Foundation. And artists redesign them every single year. However, Union Square is in a bit of a transition period right now. You'll notice empty storefronts and for lease signs mixed in with the luxury brands. The retail landscape in San Francisco is shifting dramatically post-pandemic. But despite the closures, the square remains the main gathering point for tourists and the center of the city's hotel district.
I watch from the iron stairs. Laundry hangs like flags of truce. She draws circles in the air, each one a door closing, opening. The courtyard holds its geometry. Pigeons settle on fire escapes. She is a still point.
For nearly half a century, this was the symbol of San Francisco. The Transamerica Pyramid. When this building was finished in 1972, the locals absolutely hated it. Critics called it the dunce cap and an eyesore that didn't fit the vibe of the city. Today, it's unimaginable to picture the skyline without it. It stands about 850 feet tall, and its unique shape was actually designed to let more light reach the street level than a standard blocky skyscraper would. But the pyramid has been dethroned. Say hello to the new king of the skyline, the Salesforce Tower. At over 1,000 feet, this is now the tallest building in San Francisco. If the Transamerica Pyramid represented the era of finance and insurance, the Salesforce Tower represents the new era of big tech. It is essentially an entire vertical campus for the cloud computing giant. You can see this thing from almost anywhere in the Bay Area. While the design is a bit softer and rounder compared to the pyramid, it's the definitive landmark of the modern tech-fueled San Francisco. There are two major bridges here. Everyone knows the red one, but the gray one does all the work. This is the San Francisco-Oakland Bay Bridge. It actually carries way more traffic than the Golden Gate. It connects the city to the East Bay, places like Oakland and Berkeley. What's interesting is that this bridge opened 6 months before the Golden Gate Bridge. But it rarely gets the love. It's actually two bridges connected by a tunnel through Yerba Buena Island. In the evenings, keep an eye on the vertical cables. They usually run a massive LED light installation called the Bay Lights, turning the bridge into a mesmerizing digital canvas.
We don't play. It ain't nothing to squabble up and catch a fade to shoot it out in broad day. My homie strapped and got good aim. You can tell by the ball caps what I claim. 100 tracks, that be the game. On the hood.
And now, the most famous rolling national landmarks in the world. This isn't a theme park ride. This was an engineering necessity. Back in the 1870s, a man named Andrew Halliday watched horses slip and die, trying to pull heavy carriages up the wet, steep hills. He adapted mining technology to pull cars using an underground steel cable. Today, only 3 lines remain, but they are iconic. If you want to ride, it'll cost you about $8, which is pricey for public transport, but you're paying for the history. Since the cars can't drive in reverse, the operators have to physically push the car on a giant wooden turntable. It's manual labor, just like it was 150 years ago. Whether you hang off the side or sit inside, this is the one tourist trap that is actually worth the wait. There is a reason these things are the only moving National Historic Landmark in the entire country. The gripman operating the car isn't just pushing buttons, he is physically wrestling a giant lever to grab onto a cable running 9 miles per hour under the street. It is a dangerous job and a lost art form. If you want the best view, grab the pole on the outer running board of the Powell Hyde line. You will feel the wind, hear the wood creaking, and get a front row seat to the best views of the bay as you crest the hill.
just like a wood. I've been holding shit down in the program like I should. Ain't shit that you could tell me if my people living good. Summertime on the west, a little smoke up in my chest. Slide through my section, hollow tips up in the tech.
If the hills are steep, the solution is to make the roads crooked. Welcome to Lombard Street. You'll hear it called the crookedest street in the world. Technically, that's not true. Vermont Street a few miles away is crookeder. But Lombard is the one with the PR team. It has 8 hairpin turns in just one block. The hill here has a 27% grade, which was too dangerous for cars in the 1920s to go straight down. So they added the curves to reduce the slope. Today, it's basically a garden that you drive through. It attracts over 2 million visitors a year, mostly just queuing up in their cars to drive 5 miles per hour down the bricks. Right around the corner from these tourist spots, you enter a different world. The coolest part is watching them at the turnaround. San Francisco has the highest density of billionaires of any city in the world. And looking at these homes, it shows. You have massive Italianate mansions and Beaux-Arts palaces with direct, unobstructed views of the bay. The wealth here is quiet, but it is loud in architecture. These aren't just houses, they are fortresses of old and new money overlooking the rest of the city. But the most famous houses in the city are much smaller. These are the Painted Ladies of Alamo Square, also known as Postcard Row. You probably recognize them from the intro of Full House. These 7 Victorian homes step down the hill perfectly, with the modern city skyline looming in the background. It is the perfect contrast of 19th century charm and 21st century skyscrapers. Just a heads up, people actually live inside these. It's not a museum, so while thousands of people sit in the park across the street to watch the sunset, there's a family inside just trying to make dinner. Sitting on top of Telegraph Hill is a white concrete column called Coit Tower. This was built in 1933 using money left to the city by Lily Hitchcock Coit. She was a wealthy, steep, eccentric socialite who was obsessed with fire departments. She used to chase fire trucks around the city. Some people say the tower looks like a fire hose nozzle, though the architects claim that was unintentional. Inside, you have incredible murals painted during the Great Depression. But the real draw is the view from the top. It offers a 360-degree look at the city, giving you a perfect vantage point to see just how close the water is to the urban jungle. Down on the waterfront stands the Ferry Building. Historically, this survived the 1906 earthquake when most of the city didn't. Before the Golden Gate and Bay Bridges were built, this was the only way in and out. In the 1930s, 50,000 people commuted through here every single day. When car culture took over, this building was nearly demolished to build a freeway. Luckily, the city saved it, and today it's a world-class food market. This is the place to try authentic San Francisco sourdough. The bread here tastes different than anywhere else in the world because of the specific wild yeast bacteria found in the San Francisco fog and air. It's science, but it tastes like magic.
Just like these bitches and Caliphas, we bought business. We pulling skits with a mission. I swear my heart went caught up in these trenches. Could be better locked in prison. But I ain't a product of the struggle, and I'm stuck up in my ways. I get it off the muscle flexing like I'm pushing weights. Heard they wanna kill me, everybody got their day. I heard they don't feel me, fuck them all, that's on my baby. I take the 6-4 any day over Mercedes. Shocker ties and crease dickies with my Chucks and Ben Davis. Evil thoughts up in my mind got me feeling like I'm crazy. I'm trying to see another day, so I gotta keep this pistol on my waist. For my kids gotta eat, grind hard, homie, hustle, don't sleep.
Walk south along the Embarcadero and you hit Oracle Park, home of the San Francisco Giants. Even if you don't like baseball, this stadium is gorgeous. It sits right on the water's edge. In fact, if a player hits a home run over the right field wall, the ball lands in the ocean. It's called a splash hit. You will often see fans waiting in kayaks just hoping to catch a free ball.
Tell me if my people living good. Summertime on the west, a little smoke up in my chest. Slide through my section, hollow tips up in the tech.
Now, let's talk about the weather. Because San Francisco has a climate that confuses everyone. Warning, it gets foggy. Really, really foggy. We aren't talking about a little mist. We are talking about can't see your hand in front of your face visibility. Locals call the fog Carl. It's a thermal phenomenon where the hot air from inland California hits the cold ocean water. In neighborhoods like the Sunset or the Richmond districts, you can go weeks in the summer without seeing the sun. You might have sunny blue skies downtown, but drive 10 minutes west and you are in a horror movie scene. This drone footage gives you an idea of just how thick the blanket gets. It completely swallows the streets. It's atmospheric and moody, but it's the reason you never leave the house without a jacket. When the fog lifts, most tourists end up here. Is it a tourist trap? It's full of souvenir shops and overpriced candy. But you come here for the loud residents in the back. The sea lions. These guys appeared shortly after the 1989 earthquake and decided to take over the boat docks. The boat owners weren't happy, but the city decided to let the sea lions stay. Now, hundreds of them pile up here, barking, fighting, and sleeping. It is nature's reality TV show, and it's completely free to watch.
Brick walls rise on every side, but the sky remains. Her breath is older than the street, measured, deliberate. The city forgets to
Adjacent to the pier is Fisherman's Wharf. This used to be the working hub for the Italian fishing fleet in the 1800s. Now, it's mostly clam chowder bowls and crab stands. However, the fishing industry is still alive here. November is typically the start of Dungeness crab season, and you can still see the boats hauling in the catch. While the area is incredibly commercialized now, getting a fresh crab cocktail or watching the bread bakers at work is still a core part of the San Francisco experience.
walls rise on every side, but the sky remains. Her breath is older than the street.
And finally, we reach the magnet that draws everyone to the coast. The Golden Gate Bridge. Completed in 1937, it is an Art Deco masterpiece. When it was built, it was the longest suspension bridge in the world. The color is technically called International Orange. It wasn't meant to be the final color, it was just the primer used for the steel. But the architect loved how it looked against the blue water and the white fog. But here is something most people don't realize about maintaining this beast. The bridge is painted continuously, not because they want it to look pretty, but because the salt air is constantly trying to eat the steel. They use a specific team of ironworkers and painters who battle high winds and dizzying heights every single day. Also, that famous fog we talked about, it actually accelerates the corrosion. And if you look closely at the design, you see Art Deco details that make it feel more like a skyscraper than a highway. It is the most photographed bridge in the world for a reason. It is an engineering miracle that shouldn't exist in a place this windy. Now, before you touch down on the tarmac at SFO, I've got 5 reality check tips to make sure you actually survive your first 48 hours. First, let's talk about the July jacket. If you pack for a beach vacation because it's California, you are going to freeze and end up buying a $30 SF hoodie just to stop shaking. Dress in layers, the sun is a part-time employee here. Second, your rental car is a glass box, not a safe. Buy pinning or smash and grabs happen in seconds. Never leave a bag, a charger, or even a loose nickel visible on your seat, or you're going to be filing a police report before lunch. Third, let's get real about your footwear. You are going to look at a hill on a map and think, I can make it. Your shins will tell you otherwise. Forget the fashion, bring broken-in sneakers because your calves are about to do the hardest workout of their lives. Fourth, stop overpaying for Ubers. Traffic here is a nightmare and parking is a scam. Download the Clipper app and use BART and Muni. It's cheaper, it's faster, and you get to actually see the city instead of the back of a Prius driver's head. Finally, do not eat every meal at Fisherman's Wharf. The views are great, but the food is often overpriced and generic. Go to the Mission for a real burrito, go deeper into Chinatown for dim sum, and find the places where the locals are actually standing in line. San Francisco is a complicated place. It's got grit, it's got glamour, and it's constantly reinventing itself. From the fog-covered avenues to the tech towers illuminating the night, it's a city you have to see to understand. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep exploring.